Welcome, everybody, to the 1212 extravaganza. My name is Carrie and Killeen, and I will be your host and facilitator. And I am today's big. Today is really, really big, you guys. And aside from
Mm.
facilitating this beautiful roundtable with my soul sisters, I honestly feel like I am a kid in a candy shop right now. Being able to be here today on this potent day, there's a story behind how all of this came together, which I want to share with you. This is going to be a day, a moment in time where we're tapping into the mastery of the process of evolution.
Mm.
And to me, I know this as being called the God process. And the beautiful women who I have been so divinely guided to are going to share their stories. I just love hearing stories. So the reason why I'm here today is because years and years and years ago, when I was at like rock bottom, I was looking for that story of a person who achieved the life that I wanted to achieve. And
Mm.
it was by aligning with those stories and saying, you know what? If they can do it, I can do it. And so, what has always captivated me from this moment on has been the stories of others and feeling the energy that people exude, right? Because everything in life
Mm.
right now is a frequency. And that's what is the magic of life. It's an energy game. And when you can master the energy game, you can master life. And we're here for life
Mm.
mastery. We're also here. This is this is where I get to just lean in because this hasn't always been easy for me to discuss, but it has very much been the pathway that I've been on since a my life came to a screeching halt and I lost everything that I knew to be mine, right? My children, my marriage, my career. And I was brought through a process that I know now to be the God process. And I was aligned with God's promise. And as I aligned with God's promise, the dream that I
Mm.
had as a child started to return to me.
Mm.
The laughter, the joy, the happiness, the pure innocence of being Carolyn, my given name, and Colleen, the soul who was born into a family where I often felt like, oh my gosh, you guys don't understand me. How did I get put here? And going into this extreme dark night of the soul where everything just made complete, it was like no sense at all, right? And I'm sharing all of this with you because what brought me here was learning the truth and living
Mm.
the truth. And before I go any further, I want to hear from all of you. Where are you from? I'm in Massachusetts. Um, I it's cold here, but I'm well into menopause and I was having hot flashes. So I'm like, okay, we get to have the camisole today, not the sweater. I'd love to hear where you're from and what got you here because you could have been anywhere this morning if you're in the Pacific Coast. It's Eastern time here in Boston, Massachusetts. But what got you here today and where are you from? And I'd love for you to all be on camera. Hello from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Welcome, Ontario, Canada. Welcome, welcome, Catherine. It's so good to see you. Hello, hello.
Mm.
All right. Well, I want to bring Solara in. Solara is one of our storytellers today and a powerful being. Hello from Germany, Erica. It's great to see you. And as more of our guests arrive today, as their souls pop into to guide us in this amazing journey, I want to tell you a story of how this came to be, this event, this 1212 extravaganza. which I know now to be, we're going to be opening up the doors to God's promise for each of you who are here. And each of you who have been, will be watching the replay. And I couldn't be more excited to do that. I also couldn't be more nervous. I have this nervous excitement of like, wow, I get to speak about this. And it's been 49 years in the making, to be able to share this with such excitement and joy and
Mm,
pure innocence. But this extravaganza in this circle of divinity and power and grace and magic and
mm,
potency came at a time in my life not too long ago, a few months ago, where I've really felt like I was at the end of an era. I've been a business owner for 10 years and I had been really like slaving away at doing events and I have amazing clients and my clients stay with me for years and we do some really juicy work together. But I was really just saying, like, where is my tribe? Where, where are the people who are going to vibe with me and
mm,
talk about all the things that really, the deep things, the stories of greatness and the stories of pure magic, but also the truth behind how that occurs. And
mm,
I kept getting this guidance of just be patient and wait. And that's very hard for me. Being patient and waiting and kind of going with the flow and like, oh, we'll just see where the universe takes you. But I actually followed this and I actually started to just really lean into life and
mm,
started really enjoying life and letting go of stress. And Veronica Parks reached out to me, and she is one of our speakers today, and she'll be popping in when she's ready. She'll beam in when she's ready. And she said, it was kind of like she sent me this message of like, it's almost complete, Carrie, but you're not there yet. And I sat and I thought about that. And I'm like, well, what is really out of alignment right now in my life? And I said, well, I don't feel like I'm with my tribe. I really
mm,
feel like I'm teetering on the edge of like quick up level and just, life mastery, but really holding on to an old edge. So I went with her guidance and I really allowed that the intelligence of her guidance within me to open up. And it started to unfold into, oh my goodness, my soul sisters are the ones who are talking about the kingdom and they're talking about pure
mm,
innocence and they're really living in that embodiment. And so I said, okay, well, I'm gonna do something completely different and I'm gonna do a round table, right? And so I asked and I prayed and I got the divine guidance to invite Jennifer, Shara, Ra, SOLARA'S, and Veronica Parks to do a collaboration with me because I love more than anything being with community and discussing like really epic stuff and telling truths, right? I think we all need to hear the truth. So we did that on 11/20, and it was kind of like there were some bumps in the road. And I read Jennifer's email, and she's like, it was really kind of like integrating it all in. And during that process, I heard 12/12. And I was like, okay, we're going to do it again. It's going to be 12/12. That's what got us here. And since that moment, we have been integrating and connecting and collaborating and building and building and building the frequency field of this container of God's promise. So there's a
mm,
story behind everything. There is a pathway that is unfolding here for each of you. And I cannot wait to jump into this container. Um,
mm,
What I want to share with you is God's promise is the inner dream. God's promise is the desire that has been inside of your heart since the moment you took your first breath. It is the only reason why you were born. There's no other reason other than to live the promise that is inside of your heart. God's promise is heaven on earth. It is the bridge, it is the gateway to being eternal on earth. And it is a choice. There is a pathway for God to get to God's promise or to unify with God's promise. And today we're going to hear about that because each one of these exquisite souls are living an aspect or are the aspect of God, right? And whatever we want to call God's source, light, it all came through God in the creation. And we're in an epic time in our lives right now where we can choose to create our own slice of magic within our lives, no matter what is going on in the world. In the world, the more the world gets crazy and off balance, the more we come back to center and realize that we are in control of our reality and that we birth it from the inside of our hearts through our seeds, those God-given seeds, whether it's the prosperity, the love, but they are all divinity. And they are all made to be manifested. And so we're going to talk about that. And I can't wait to hear the stories of my soul sisters and to have them share. I just some logistical things before we really open up this gateway. This is a community share. So each one of you are opting into SOLARA'S community, Veronica's community, and Jennifer's community. And on a business note, this is we are sharing this community. So you'll be hearing from me for the first couple weeks, and then we'll be opening up to Solara, Veronica, and Jennifer. But please, please, please feel free to communicate and contact with any of these beautiful ladies. And I know that, most of you are part of their communities now. So that's a logistical thing. And the other thing is that I'm offering a masterclass to go deeper into the promise of God and the God pathway of how to open up the kingdom of heaven within yourself and really start to manifest some amazing, amazing things in 2025 and beyond. And that will be happening on Monday. There'll be an opt-in for that. So go ahead and check that out. And we're going to open up because we are all here. So let's highlight Solara, Veronica, and Jennifer. Yay! I know. Catherine, yay! Excited. Highlight all their names. I know. Cheers, cheers, cheers. I'm just going to catch up with some of these comments as Debbie is letting everybody in. I love these events. It feels cozier. Yeah. You guys are in my living room. The love sack couch that, my husband and I put together that the dog sleeps on most of the days, absorbing the vibes. So I guess Debbie must be off camera, but we're gonna pin hello and we're gonna pin hello, Veronica.
Yeah.
Yay. And Jennifer. Hello, beauties. Yay. Welcome. How's everybody feeling today?
I feel amazing and grateful and blessed. I'm also so we're in mid-California, but it's also freezing where we are. So I'm like cozied up. I have this big
Cozy.
blanket here and a warm cup of coffee. And I'm just, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and I agree with Catherine. It feels so lush and intimate and rich and cozy to be in this space together. So thank you for bringing us here.
Thank you, all of us. I mean, we all called this in.
Yeah.
Everybody who's
Yeah.
here and showed up called
Yes.
this in some way, shape, or form. Veronica and Jennifer,
Mhm.
welcome, welcome. I was just giving
Yeah.
a background of how this came to be and how it started with Veronica just kind of tapping me, being like, hey, let's get you into alignment with, the visionaries and the masters right now, and how it just unfolded. And
Mm.
we're here again because we're here to share more. And I want to, and first of all, welcome, welcome, Solara. And, Solara is known as the human Tesla. And I'm so curious about this energy. Each lady here exudes this vibrational field, which is what got us all
Mm.
here. We're here to experience the field of energy that is you and to just play in that field. So, um, Jennifer, Egypt and codes and just, Isis and all of your, and I'm going to let you guys share about your stories. This is your platform. But that's really what magnetized me is just, wow, like this mystical, like, ooh, tell me more about that. And Veronica, being in your presence as a human being, I was like, oh my gosh, she's the channeling and the frequency that comes through you. I feel like everybody gets to experience in this lifetime. So I'm going to open it up to you guys and share, your being and your
Mm.
frequency. And I'm gonna mute. I'll let you just kind of decide. We're in my living room, we're chatting, we're hanging out. I'm gonna get some coffee, and here we go. So whoever wants to go first.
Mm.
The goddess is coming through, and she's like, well, it's okay that we're all in the living room and we have our coffee and we all cozy it up, but how about we open up to the fifth dimension? We actually open up this temple. Huh?
Yeah.
How about we remember that we've been doing this for lifetimes? I invite every single being that has connected in this. Even if only a few of us might be the speaking voice, we're all co-creating this together. So I invite every single sisters, brothers to hold hands and form a circle.
Mm.
If you could imagine a circle of light, all of us. Let's open this beautiful temple and honor it for what it is, with our full presence. What a gift. On this
Mm.
portal that we're here together, 12/12, and so it is. I got a download last night that during this conversation there will be many codes, new codes that will be specifically downloaded for this group that is here. So if you're here, there's a special reason you came. So feel into this energy. There are many places that you could have been today. There are many portals created all around the world to celebrate this gateway. So
Mm.
how about we connect to all the other beings that couldn't connect with us here, but are forming portals all around the world? How about we connect to their light? And how about we form the circle of all the light beings that are connecting in meditation today? How about we connect to that power, to the energy? Is everyone on board with that? Yeah. Can, can, can we all tap into this galactic power that is available to us? Who
Mm.
cares how many people showed up on Zoom or how many people tap into the replay? We're all in this together. Everything is happening in real time. This is fifth dimension. There is no tomorrow. There is no yesterday. This is it. This is it. Step into the temple of light. And let's go create
Mm.
this magic. Whatever comes through, may every single being receive all that is for you. All that is not, throw it away. Ah, we're here now to pave the way, the whole new way. And so it is. Mm.
Mm. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Ah.
Mm.
Mm.
Opening
Mm.
up the gateway of 1212, which I experienced seeing God's hands pouring this beautiful, magical light down on us. And opening up the hearts, opening up the heart portal, and
Mm.
activating the inner heart's dream coding sequence. If you guys could put yourself on mute, that would be amazing. Opening up that sequencing and connecting you all into the spiral of the creation of heaven on earth.
Mm.
This is the golden spiral of light. And making sure that we are anchored into the angelic earth timeline. This is an ascended earth timeline and anchoring us
Mm.
in and grounding us in as we receive the codes of God and the promise of God coming through our crowns, and anchoring into earth, putting us in temples of light. And we're here to share a story of remembering, of becoming, and tapping into the ancient wisdom that exists inside of our souls and helping you remember who you are.
Yes, yes. And just feeling ourselves also as the eternal divine source at the center of our omniverse. You're the golden white diamond, divine light, effervescent, eternal, flowering, bliss, beauty, prosperity, love, the infinite grand mosaic of creation itself encoded in every cell of our body, our DNA blueprint emerging in every here and now. We are the eternal now moment of divine, sublime perfection. And really feeling our immortal radiance as it illumes our chalice and blooms from within us, gifting all life with the prosperity that is our quintessence, reaching into the far reaches and vast expanse of the infinite, our body of creation, no matter who we are, where we are in any moment. Our beingness is our service to existence and the wider ecosystem of life itself. And all we must do is know, feel, resonate, and emanate the truth and the majesty of our being in service to love itself in every here and now, in service to our own majestic eternal heart. I am that I am that I am that I am all that is.
Beautiful. As we continue to open up our divine channels, we welcome you to open up, release, embrace all aspects of self. To let go of ego, to let go of need, to let go of all expectations, and immerse yourself in the energy field of the 1212 as it is uniquely expressed through the divine beings who are here present with you, sharing their unique expressions, embodiments, codes, mastery. The storytellers of the rebirth of self. So the way that I see this is a walk through time and a sharing of what got you here, so that our audience who is walking this pathway with us can hear the pathway that each of us took to get where we are, to encourage and to open up possibility, to open up courage, because this pathway does take courage, and to help trust the unfolding of this beautiful process that we're in of becoming. And wherever you want to jump in with what got you here, what are you remembering? Because this is a retrograde time. I know that I'm looking back on a lot of where I've been and kind of saying, whoa, wow, it's been a journey. And there's these moments that have stuck out, choice moments where I've had to choose that higher pathway. I had to let go of a version of myself. And so that's the feeling and the tone that I'm feeling. And it's a crescendo, of course, because we're going to build and build and build and build. So
Mm.
wherever you want to join in, wherever you
Mm.
feel, Jennifer, I know I feel you.
Yeah, I'm like
Yes.
bubbling
Yes.
up,
So
like
go,
as I was
girl.
listening to you all, I'm like bubbling up with
Yeah, that's
this
how I felt too.
day, this 12-12 days. 11-11 and 8-8, yes, it's powerful and we open gateways, but this 12-12 is the 3-3 and the numerology of 3-3, the creation codes. And
Mm.
this is you, your mastery, your next level greatness opening up to who you truly are, all that you've been through this year. This year has been
Mm.
intense pathways and soul journeys, that everything that you've been calling in, why has the universe been maybe throwing everything at you? You might feel that way a little bit, is because it had to clear so that you could step into your highest path, because your soul, that shows you you are ready to be the light leader, the way shower, the code holder, the keeper of the wisdoms, the keeper of the next level. This new Aquarian
Mm.
age is the next 2000 years, and it is the divine feminine illumination. This is the return to Lemuria. This is the return to our star seed oneness, of not the separation of divine feminine, divine masculine, but this new oneness,
Mm.
which is the Trinity, which is you, source, and the frequency of the universe. And so this is the new oneness, and this is you stepping into that and then leading others who are maybe holding on to the side of the pool and they're like not quite sure, they're still rocked by the election or anything they can think of to keep them at the side of the pool, but to swim
Mm.
into the waters of this new Aquarian age, of this new golden age, of the new edge of this new frequency, of this new multidimensional frequency, where the DNA is no longer, it's moving into pillars of light, where we are moving into just moving in through just source. Children are being born that have only this
Mm.
pillars of light, that they no longer need the DNA strands. And so this is this
Mm.
light. I mean, look at the Aurora Borealis. It's now into like the middle of the USA now. It used to only be in, the North Pole or Greenland. The light is like spreading and showing us physically
Mm.
that it's here and it's within you. And it's only reason that's happening is because you are stepping into your light and the light that you are and the affinity you are with God as one. And I love your title of this,
Mm.
Carrie, with the kingdom codes and God's calling on your life, because you are God, you're a fractal emanation of source. And it's like we need to just remove those outer layers to reveal our light. And that's just what we're walking through. And I walked through it this year, heavy duty. And I mean, I'm just so blessed to be here with where I was at and what I had to face many lifetimes and
Mm.
not dealing with things, to now be here and be in this light and to step into this 12-12 portal, this gateway. So everything you've been through this year is now consolidating today. I was so tired yesterday. I don't know about you guys. I was like, and I had so much energy, and yesterday it was like
Wow.
boom. And then today I feel great. So it's like I had to integrate just to be with this energy for today. So
Yeah.
just be with yourself and honor just wherever you're at. And that this is the source light portal that we're now going through from everything that you have walked through
Mm.
the last decades, especially this year, this wood dragon year of abundance.
Mm.
But also, it was not going to let you walk through the gateway with holding any of your old spiritual baggage or old soul corrections that needed to come to the light for you to be who you truly are, which is a leader, way shower, and creator of the new golden age.
Mm. So exquisite.
All of that. All of that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the purging, the process, the unbecoming, the letting go, the holding on to the side of the pool. I saw it as you're holding on to the side of a cliff. But what would happen if you let go of the cliff? Oh my
Mm.
gosh, it's going to be so scary to let go and let God, right? That there's no fear. That's one thing that I learned this year. The last 3 months was there's nothing to be afraid of. If there
Mm.
is nothing to fear. And when you let go, you get to see that the universe does catch you. And
Mm,
and that's where you start to trust. My biggest challenge has been, okay, you want me to do all this work, God, and you want me to speak of the promise, then show me and I
mm,
will. So,
mm,
walking that pathway with, okay, wow, you're really showing me, God, through all these experiences that the promise is here and it's within. And the deeper
mm.
you go, the more you unearth. So, who wants to share of a moment where they were deep? Let's get deep because the deeper we go, the higher we go.
Mhm.
Someone wrote in the chat. Oh, I'm sorry, Solara, were you going into?
No, you're great. Please. Yeah, it'll
Because
emerge in the
you were
perfect
going
moment.
up and I'm going down. So where does the audience want to go? 'Cause
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a great thing.
that's a great question. What do you want to hear? Yeah, Veronica, I love it.
raise your hand if it's off. Raise your hand.
Yeah. Okay. So we all good with coming on and bringing the viewers in and cameras on, speakers? How do we like this? Does this feel good? Or do
Well,
we?
we do this. I'm just going to move into this energetic of contraction, expansion, contraction. And if we imagine ourselves at the center of the eternal now moment, in any moment, we're either contracted, which takes us into those deep, deep, deep oceanic inner terrains of our subconscious, our unconscious, our patterns, our resistances, our self-inflicted pain and suffering. And these are the places where we have an opportunity to deeply nourish, honor, parent our own being, to embrace all the aspects of our beingness, of our human experience, of our existence, and really become masters of unconditional love by erotically, tenderly embracing and integrating the fullness of the experience that's arising for us. And I know that everybody on this call has had some really deep, murky, sorrowsome experiences, like the full spectrum of what it is to be a human alive on this planet. And then as we integrate that, we begin to feel more safe to open our being, open our vessel, open our chalice so that the light of the eternal may bloom and blossom and emanate itself unencumbered. And so this mastery is about learning to stay open into the recognition that all that is the presence of pure divine love operating everywhere simultaneously now. And do we feel safe enough to open fully into the oneness of that love, to merge and harmonize with the supreme synchronicity of existence itself, and to stay there, to live there, to thrive there, to dance in divine union from this space? And so all of these contractions and expansions are leading us into the effervescent opening of our bloom of the flower. And to come there, it's like the seed, we're planted in these rich earthy soils to drink in the water, to drink in the minerals and the nutrients of life. And then we have to grow up literally through the soil. And there's some degree of, we push up in that blossoming of our beingness. And then ultimately there's this magnificent bloom. And the seed contains the blueprint of our infinite becoming. And this is the journey of growth and opening and expansion and merging with the sun, merging with the light of creation, the light of pure consciousness that we are. And we all experience this in incredibly unique and multifaceted ways in our journey. And so I'm just, seeing this vision of all of this. And, I've had some incredible hardships and challenges and adversities in my life experience. And each one has been a holy invitation to drop my resistance to love, to relinquish the limited mind generated identities of who I think that I am as this small separate self, so that I may open into the infinite grandeur of who I am as the all that is, as the infinite, as super abundance of light and love expressing itself everywhere. And that has been a profoundly miraculous and deeply challenging journey simultaneously.
Clara, thank you for that beautiful bridge and the
Mm.
reminding of the planting and the seeds in us that plant, and that we require that darkness and the earth. And that's our earth reality, is to walk through and to plant and to grow and to emerge and to unify and harmonize. It's just so beautiful. And we needed that bridge to bring in the stories and the medicine that each of you have to share, whether it's the 5D and the expansiveness, or the bridging of being in that expand, the constriction and the expansion. Yeah, it's the evolution of human that's happening right now. And when we master the evolutionary process, oh my gosh, we're unstoppable. We're unstoppable in what we can create. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ultimately become this alchemical grail of God's self-embodiment, where our light literally exudes through the far reaches and alchemizes everything it touches into the golden quintessence of our own divinity. So then we find ourselves in this world where every facet of the diamond is reflecting back to us our own purest magnificence. And so to do that, it's so counterintuitive because we want to do this, but the invitation is to melt the barriers and do this so that the light may transform.
Yeah. I see this as the heart wall, and the heart wall that is holding back the inner promise, the inner divine, from being able to merge with the universe and the promise that God has. And I see it as the alignment when you're willing to let that heart wall melt through the alchemy process. You're unified with the God body. And the God body is all that exists. And so then you're just playing in that field. So it does require an element of being willing to let go of what's holding you back. So what's a process that you would like to share where you are able to let go of that side of the swimming pool? What generally gets you to that point where, like, oh my gosh, it's time to let go? What does that look like? Feel like?
It's like a sacred release into every here and now, because as we've been sharing, it's like there literally is no past, no future, no 5 seconds ago, no 5 seconds from now. We're always in and as the embodiment of this eternal now moment, the omniversal Om, coming into that timelessness. And so can I release notions and concepts of time in my own awareness and be born anew in every here and now? And I feel like this is the art and the mastery of adaptive transformation and change. Can I relinquish previous moments, and can I not hold? Can I just continuously release into the newness, the limitlessness of now, and choose anew in this moment? I choose to be joy. I choose to be love. I choose to be calm and peace and ease. I choose my own innocence in this moment, and I choose the recognition of the innocence of all beings and all creation, that all that is emerging and arising from within each of us is love, or a deep yearning for love, and all the things that we do to attempt to attain the love that we are. And can we operate in that empathy and purity and innocence? And for me, sometimes, because I certainly have moments where the defenses come up, or I move into, temporary contraction. And it's as simple for me as stepping away for a moment, returning to the breath of my heart, and opening a dialogue with my supreme being with love and giving thanks. Thank you, love, in this moment for loving me, cherishing me, choosing me, honoring me, adoring me, for showing me just how beautiful and magnificent this life is. Such a powerful declaration. Like, show me, lavish me, love me, remind me, because our creation will always respond to us. And it's just the simplicity of returning to the breath, to the heart, to the truth, and being in sacred communion with our own pure being.
That's gorgeous.
I love that. Thank you. That, that really inspires me too, to when you have a challenge or when I find myself going into contraction and I pause and it's like, what a pleasure. Because every challenge I'm given is my soul corrections coming up to say hi. This is needing to be let go, and what a pleasure. And the bigger it is, like the big thing comes in that just you can't see your way out, that means you have gigantic hugeness on the other side, because your soul is like, you have such bigness coming in. You need to clear this. And so we're going to give you this challenge. And by you just accepting, pause, what a pleasure. Thank you so much. I have so much amazingness coming in. I can feel it because this is really intense. You can feel it, you can be in it. And then just thank. And the darker that and the longer period of time, like your dark journey is, the bigger vessel you have. And that means you're a higher soul, because you took on these larger. If you look around, I look around in my family and no one's going through what I've been through, like, maybe job things or relationship. And it's just a different contract that we are walking. And so we need to just honor that, the bigness of that, what you chose to heal and to take on and to step through. And that when I find those challenges, it's a new practice. And then that means that then you can move into your next level soul evolution, because only in challenges is where you get the opportunity to grow, that discomfort. And why is your next level not comfortable? Because you aren't walking it yet. It's new. It's not where you're at in this moment. And so discomfort is what spirit loves as the growth, as the seed, like Solara was saying, the seed that has all of your blueprint, all of your template of your divineness and where you're going and what your God self is creating is all there. And it's just honoring your challenges, and that shell hiding your light is just peeling off, peeling off, peeling off, so you can shine your light. And that means you're just a really high soul walking.
Yeah, Shelley.
Jennifer, I love that you spoke into that like a true priestess. Because knowing the path and the amount of challenges you have your way and the amount of pain, you better find pleasure when you process your pain. Otherwise, there's just no way you can continue going. So thank you for speaking to that.
The inner dialogue too, the inner dialogue that
Yeah.
you about wow.
There is
Right.
one more portal that came in my dreams last night. I was up at 2 a.m. and I'm like, why is this? Is this for today and now? And I understand that this is just another way of letting go. So let's see if I can bring it back. What came through was the word human. And I want you to separate that human. That means we all have that hue in common. And if it helps to close your eyes and see the visual, let's see if we can bring this home. So there is a hue, a certain hue within all of us that makes us men, human, okay? So when we're going through troubles or whatever it is that we're encountering, we're experiencing through our senses as this hue, man. But as we explore our spiritual evolution, we're like, oh, I have a little unicorn. And then I'll have a little bit of this. And then I have a little bit of that. And I'm connecting to spirits and to ancestors and to the mother and to this and to that. All of those are different hues that you added to your man. Okay, so if you're a visual, as you see this hue, so when information comes in, you can process it and you can experience that information as the man only using one hue. Or you can expand to your unicorn self, your spirit self, your goddess self, your god self, whatever it is that you connect to, Andromedans, Arcturians, whatever it is, dragons, anything that you, any flavor of this divine source that you have connected to so far, because they're all in you. Just waiting to be reminded within. So what if we walk through the world connecting to all that we are? Then any information that comes in, it's easy to let go because there's so many parts of you, there's so many hues that got your back. You don't have to rely only on your man part. In fact, your man part was never supposed to rely on the man. It was supposed to rely on everything else the man is connected to. That is what makes us so special. That's why all the beings are so attracted to this planet. We're able to be man and create, bring stuff from all that we're connected to, all these hues, process all the information that comes our way, whether we consider good, bad. We process it with all the gamut of hues that we have. And then the journey becomes quite amazing. Oh, this accident happens? No problem. I'll cry and I'll enjoy my tears because I know this pain is only for 5 minutes and I'll be on the floor just crying, bawling it out. And then the pleasure that comes out there because I just freed myself and my entire ancestral lineage from all those codes. And now all of this light comes back to me and I'm lighter. And I just stepped one more step towards my way back home. And now I can share it with the rest of the world. And this is what we're doing here. So let's open up to all of our hues. I have some hues that I remembered. Jennifer has some hues that she remembers. We all have different hues. Every single being that you are here today have some hues. So can we open up to all the hues that we are and allow the man in us to have a phenomenal experience? Because we are the ones creating this world with all the hues. So if this portal helps you in any way to let go of all that was and embrace this magical experience, may this serve you in every possible way. And so it is. Thank you, sisters.
Thank you.
Yes, beautiful. Glorious, multifaceted kaleidoscope of existence. Just being and emanating all the archetypal facets of the supreme diamond in all moments. And I also love so much and appreciate, Jennifer, that you brought through the awareness that the deeper, the darker, the more elongated the challenge is that we're experiencing, the more magnitude and profundity of light that follows it. Because when we are in those deep, deep, deep trenches sometimes, and we are at our edge and we can't see the light, and we're in those dark, dark spaces, it can become so overwhelming. And this isn't a word that I would use, but it's coming through, so hopeless in those spaces. And so to always bear in our awareness that the farther back that slingshot goes, the farther forward it is going to propel itself. And I have found that to be true from the micro to the macro level with challenges. Even if it seems like we are moving backward or digressing, we are actually preparing ourselves, opening ourselves, clarifying ourselves for a magnitude that we have yet to experience in this life. And it always is so star-dashingly wonderful what we meet with on the other side of that. And there's in the depth, and interweaving the pleasure into our experience, we learn to unify fully with, if there's pain, if there's grief, if there's sorrow, finding the poetic beauty and the romance in whatever it is that we're experiencing. Like, and still it's so sweet because with my beloved, sometimes when the tears come, he's very welcoming and loving, but I can tell sometimes the intensity is a lot. And I'm making love to the pain. I'm making love to the sorrow. I'm making love to whatever emotional experience is arising for me. And then it's so refreshing and liberating. Like I just stood under a waterfall on the other side of that because I've cleared the space. I've allowed the energy to move. without judgment, without restriction. This energy is here, and all it wishes to do is move through my holy chalice. And so, can I be creative, constructive, poetic, romantic with whatever it is that I'm experiencing? And that also richens our capacity for unconditional love. We can now be in a space with any and all beings, no matter what their experience is, and hold them in a depth of compassion and empathy and grace and care, and allow what is to simply be what it is, and introduce the unifying force of love that says, like you said, all those hues, I've got you. Whatever your experience is, I love you unconditionally and without measure.
Beautiful. So beautiful. Yeah. The process of purifying our bodies. And I just had an experience right before yesterday, actually 2 days ago, where I woke up and I was on the verge of tears and I didn't understand why. And it was like, oh, you just let go. But I couldn't let go. But of course, my beloved and I had an argument, and I was like, yes, here it comes. Here it comes. The walls of our hearts are going to come down. And sure enough, it was this experience where an old story came through, and I see that as like being a black thread that goes through our golden chalice. And I said, oh, good, here it comes. It gets to move out of us, and the anger and the frustration and the words that we hold back, and it just, and then and then the tears, because it actually ended up being so much love that came through. And the tears went from feeling like I was misunderstood, but then feeling like, oh my God, this is all the love in the world, and this is a massive love breakthrough. And then being able to share that and knowing that it was preparing my chalice, our chalice, for a vacation with our unified blended family, and a Christmas. And I said, wow, the blessings on the other side of this breakdown must be great, because it feels so intense. But the biggest act of self-love is to stay with self. And like Solara said, make love to yourself while you're going through that. And I experienced it almost like a birthing of a new version of self, but an orgasmic birth. Like, wow, a new being is coming through right now. And she's even more potent and powerful than the old version. It happened in an instant, and both energies were there at the same time. And it was beautiful. It was just so beautiful.
Thank you for sharing. I feel like we are so walking on eggshells in our relationships when there's something that isn't said, the unsaid resentments that we hold, and we hold them in the bladder. So if you're having any UTIs, usually that's you're not being met by your partner. Every time when a sister said that, we were driving in the car, and she said it so matter of factly. And I thought back every time, I never had UTIs until I started dating. And and it was the men that I couldn't hold me. I loved them, but I knew they couldn't meet me. And I had raging UTIs. And so I just send that out as like your body is telling you. And so it's like you being with your beloved, and having those tears and letting that flow. And then him meeting you is then your body can just rest in that, because you are being held by the divine masculine. Then you can rest your divine feminine, and she can flow, and he can hold the consciousness, because he wants your radiant heart light. That is what the divine feminine gives to the divine masculine, and he holds the space and consciousness for us. And so, and we hold that within ourselves as well. And so it's just, you know, whatever arises is holding that, and then allowing whatever your body, if it wants to cry, wants to pound the pillows, it wants to yell and scream and let it out. Whatever is arising is just to be with it. And then on the other side of that, like Solara said, is that waterfall of divine light, and how Carrie shared how then so much love opened. And I just love that, because we're human, we're householders, we're going to go through the emotions that are still there. And some of them are very uncomfortable. And it's like facing them and honoring it, and just going through the gauntlet. And then making love to ourselves and to each other. And then we make love to the universe. And That's the life that I want to live.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is time to baby ourselves just like we do to a baby. When a baby cries to the fullest, even if it's just the
Yes.
smallest thing, are you gonna judge the baby? No, cry it out, let it out.
Yeah.
5 minutes later, they're happy again. How did we forget how to be
Mm.
human?
Mhm.
That means feel our emotions. This is our remote control that is connecting us to all that is. But we were taught early on to be good girl and good boy and not express our emotions. Only peace, joy, love, and above. And we
Mm.
deemed anger, rage, frustration, sadness, anything below as bad. But anytime you go up, you inevitably have to come down because it has to equalize to that 0 point. That is our natural
Yes.
state. So when we go for that nirvana, make no mistake, something from the past or from the DNA, from the ancestral lineage will have to come to the surface to be processed. And that is why we have this almost like an innate thing. When you feel really happy, you are like your highest, you're like, oh, what's coming next? Because you know there's a way, there's a process to this beautiful road, because the average of all that we're experiencing has to be that 0 point. That is
Mhm.
when we truly understand that that is what happiness is can I be at peace with any president? Can I love them and wish them that best? Can I feel my light and what I can add to it to who is leading now? Can I
Mm.
add my light to anything in the world to expand what is? We're quantum creators. Every word is a spell cast into
Mm.
reality. What are we creating? Let's
Mm.
begin speaking into existence what we're here to create and feel, not feel by bursting into another. But there's this best
Mm.
friend we have home called Pillow. I remember when I first started working with clients, and I'm like, oh, the first thing we're going to get into is get access into your rage, because that's the one that we suppress the most. And we have all
Mhm.
these bone problems. So I'd be like, take a pillow and start punching. Oh no, I don't get angry. It's usually those that don't get angry are the ones that need it the most. There's so much suppressed emotions in our collective. We were taught to fit in this box to be normal, because anything beside normal, people don't know how to handle it because they don't know how to handle
Right.
their own
Get back in
emotions.
the box. Get back.
Mm.
Behave.
Yeah.
So we put a ceiling, but how about we become the way shower and we learn to open up that in a safe
Mm.
environment in communities with healers like this. We are longing not to learn more information,
Mm.
not to find the way. We're longing to connect soul to soul. That's why every one of you is here today, not to learn something new. We're
Mhm.
longing to be met by our partners, by our friends, by our family. Can you see me? Can you feel me? Can you sense me?
Mm.
When I'm crying and when I'm sad and when I'm joyful, can you accept all of it? Because all of it is a beautiful expression of all that I am. And that is what makes us beautiful.
Mm.
So can we find that space for ourselves? Maybe bring the mirror and invest many hours in being with you, get to know you. And once you go
Mm.
through that process, open it up to maybe a pet and allow yourself to be experienced processing your emotions and be seen and witnessed by another, a dog, a cat, anyone. And then once you feel safe with that, maybe you find a mentor that you can open up and be seen and witnessed with all your ugliness and darkness by someone and be loved and witnessed, because you are human. You're meant to experience all of it, from ecstasy to rage. All of it is perfect. That's what makes you
Mm.
human.
Mm.
So can we give us permission ourselves and then slowly
Mm.
showing the same expression, and give the whole world permission to be? For God's sake, can we give ourselves permission to be? Not the little box, be all that I am. And if you put anybody in a box, you are in for big trouble because everyone's going to surprise you left and right. Do
Mhm.
not put
Mm.
anything in a box. We're all that
Mm.
is, a pure expression of all that we're connected to in that moment.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mm.
Ah.
Like
Hmm.
Great intuition.
what goes up must come down. And that's like looking at when we have these extraordinary peaks, we can expect that there's going to be that low. And then ultimately there's the equilibrium, because our natural state is cosmic law, cosmic coherence, cosmic accord. And if we look at nature and we look at the raging waterfall or the earthquake or the tsunami and the dashing lightning dancing across the sky, all of these are indicative and represent some aspect of our human emotive experience. When these things arise in us that the mind might interpret as less than ideal, it's because a harmonic congruence is wishing to be established. There's sacredness in our anger, there's sacredness in our joy, there's sacredness in our pleasure and our sorrow and our grief, and the full kaleidoscope of what we experience. And if we can learn to love all of it, as Veronica said, to make love to all of it, to embrace it, to not deny it or resist it, it becomes a pleasurable experience. And therein is the paradox of our human experience, the perfection within the imperfection, the low points containing such a depth of richness and wisdom and knowledge and intelligence that emerges when we embrace it fully and don't attempt to shift out of it or pivot or change it and make it into something else, but to really honor it and the gifts that it beholds within our being and allow ourselves the sacredness and the beauty of the full experience of that which is arising, and recognizing that it has deep wisdom to show us this is where you are off balance right now. This is where a greater coherence can be established. If we resist it or push it this way, we repress, we depress, all of these things. The energy just wishes to move and flow. It's like when lightning strikes in the sky, it's releasing static electricity to bring balance to the atmosphere and the environment. It has to do that when there's that buildup. And so what we're all coming into in this journey is sustained, abiding, everlasting, impeccable coherence with our divine supreme nature. And so the pendulum swings until it finds its equilibrium at the center. And so as we go through these shifts and changes and transformations in our lives, we're doing this and this and this and this until it finally stabilizes at home. And this is completely achievable because it's our natural state of being.
It's
So we
organic.
master, yes, organic. It's organic.
Yeah.
And until then, the lightning strikes, the wind, and that's I don't know, all humans experience this in their lives, in their journey. And it's very rare. We look at the Eckhart Tolles of the world, right, who have this profound awakening experience, and he chooses to stay there. Some aspect of his being chose to stay there. But even in that, he has had challenges in his journey, even though he's deeply rooted and stabilized most of the time. And so giving ourselves that grace and learning to love the fullness and to see the beauty in the allness, that there's such a liberation that happens within our spirit when we learn to romance the totality of our experience, our beingness, our existence. So much freedom in that.
It's so beautifully said. I'm just resonating with your words, Solara, and just that witnessing. Some of the a teacher that I work with is like, it's not like go high, go low. It's like, oh, I just want to be happy. Like, or I just like that old like 3D paradigm. I just want to be happy. I don't want to feel the lower feelings, but it's more like, how can you just be here and just
Mm,
witness? Because this, like you were saying, that pendulum is like that homeostasis, that 0 point, that just that beingness. That is just like, that's the frequency of when you're relaxed, when you're in pleasure, when you're in your body, when you're grounded, when you are like, think of where you feel that. Are you sitting at the beach? Are you sitting at the park? Are you in your favorite room in your house? Are you with your dog? Are you with your children? Like, where are you when you're at that point? And that during your day is like, just, okay, I'm off from that. Like, just bring that, let's bring that into that homeostasis. And that
mm,
I have found is like that wishing to be happy, then that becomes off balance, or that wishing to like not be in the sadness, and then you're not honoring it. And so I see that in the journey as a human. Every temple has know thyself, like at the Sekhmet temple
mm,
in Egypt, she has in Memphis, it's like know thyself. It's always the journey of of mastering the human emotions. They would make you swim in the Komodo temple
mm,
with the alligators. That was one of the tests. So you had to swim in the tank in the alligator pool with the live alligator, and yet there was a secret exit where you could go out, but they don't tell you this. And so you had to face your fear, you had to go into that pool. And so it's like facing whatever is within you. These fears that come up is just that challenge, that just to like, okay, I'm in fear. This is pause, what a pleasure, something great's coming, and that I know I'm not that. It's just moving through me,
mm,
like the lightning, or like the sunshine, or like the rain, or like the earthquake. It's just coming into balance. So thank you for that. I could really understand it more by how you shared, Solara. And I think
mm,
that's helping all of us understand that it's not about how can I be happy. That's not realistic, 100% every single moment. But it's coming into that, how can I find that balance, and then witness all that's happening and just be okay
mm.
with it, be in acceptance.
Yeah.
An interesting analogy comes through of a train station. What if we were a train station and the train comes today and some people on it are, have done their work and some haven't, and some carry great things and some don't carry great things. So me as a train station, if I were to get attached to everything that came through, I might just close the train station.
Well, that's what we do. We close down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the,
Does this make
the
sense?
contraction.
So what if
Yeah.
we get off that whatever horse our identity put us on,
Mhm, mhm,
and we become the train station or the transmitter of whatever comes through? We're that temple walking through the world portal, whatever word feels for you.
mhm,
And you allow any information that comes through to come through. You're like, ah, ah, ah. Do not bring them home and adopt them as yours just because there was some products that weren't good that came through a train station. You made the train. You are here to allow this information, emotions, experiences to process through. Your job as a human being is to connect to all of you and meet all of these experiences with utmost grace, as close to
mhm,
that 0 point as we can. So what if
mhm,
we walk the world as a train station? Will that be happier for us? Instead
mhm,
of allowing everything that comes through to, we don't have to adapt it, any behavior, anything that we experience. It's not ours. And at the same time is,
mhm,
if we allow it, if we choose it to make it so. Yes, we are a combination of all that is, but we also have the individuality, that choice to choose what we express, what we allow, what we align with.
mhm,
So we always have a choice in every moment. There's no good and bad. That is why the judgment of putting something in the category, it's the biggest constriction of our evolution, because any
mhm,
person one day they can be the godliest self and the next day something came up and there's a whole different flavor and expression. But how can they be the best expression with that information? And this is the journey. It is how can I allow anything that comes through my train station? How can I be the best train station that is? And now allowing any train and anything that comes through to define me who I am as a train station, because I'm still a train station. I am not responsible for what comes through. I am this. Take what's yours, leave what's not for you. When we let go of identifying anything as ours, we have arrived at our happy place. Because the only one that gets hurt is the ego, because it has certain beliefs, and anything that doesn't align with that beliefs, oh, they have something against you. They're different than you. You are meant to be unique, because we all have a piece of that puzzle, and when we bring them together, we form a beautiful garden. That is the heaven on earth. When we all celebrate our uniqueness and we express the highest expression that comes through our transmitter, through our train station every day, without identifying that I'm this or that way. I am the ever-changing expression of all that is, of every moment of now. And I choose to be the highest way. I invite you to do the same. And so it is.
So it is.
Yes.
Delicious. Such beautiful soul medicine.
Yeah. We tend to fear that which we have not experienced or embraced within ourselves or within our lives. And so it's like you think of the sweeping force and power that is the majesty of almighty unconditional love, the richness and the strength of the integrity of the being who has capacity to love everything. And it's such an exquisite paradox. And there's this joviality that it brings to my being because it makes no sense to the rational mind.
That's the
That God
duality.
process, the God process does not make sense to the rational mind. And when I get into challenging places, I literally see my mind being blown. And then I'm reminded to get back in the heart. The heart. The heart is where it is. A connection to self, the eternal connection to self exists inside of the heart portal. And as each one of you were sharing about the train station and the pendulum, I have seen those images very clearly. And I also see these vibrational fields of energy that exist inside of us. And when we go deep within the heart, the unearthing of those old realities and the moving through of the energy to reach these bandwidths of a higher vibration. And the train station that I see is with the vibrational field and the vacillation that can occur as we're reaching that coherence, which is we can have those highs and we can have those lows, but we're going to find a steady state. And that steady state is the vibrational field that we're resonating with, and that we're communicating with the universe. And that's where I feel and experience these magical moments of gold, whether it's a conversation that I have, Veronica reaching out to me, or uh, a moment with my children, or just an awareness of a remembering of who I am. Those golden moments are the illuminating frequency that exists from inside of me, where I am remembering who I am. It's like coming back to myself, right? And when we come back to ourselves, we know that we have, or we've unlocked a new level. And then that unlocking of the new level, we can maintain a higher vibrational field so that when those moments of impact come, they don't rock us as much because we're in a higher vibrational field. We have a better relationship with our outer environment, whether it's an argument that we have with our children or a financial crisis, we've rooted in so deeply to our beingness that we know that there's nothing that can stop the force that exists
Mm,
inside of us. And we're vibrating at that higher frequency where we're able to say simultaneously, yes, this rocked me for a moment, but
mm,
I'm gonna recalibrate, or I've already recalibrated to my equilibrium and my beingness so that I can simultaneously skip through the kitchen and have a conversation with my husband that might be triggering. And
mm,
we're in this beautiful dance with duality where both of those realities can coexist. And I'm experiencing them as being in the same moment sometimes, which is phenomenal and beautiful. And it also is indicative of like the inner work of all
mm,
those times when my reality just got jolted
mm,
and I had to go deep within and plant those seeds and remember those seeds. So all of these, the God process
mm,
is to turn water into wine or to crush the grapes and turn them into fine wine in our beingness and our expansiveness and our greatness as human beings, as leaders of light and truth speakers and wisdom holders and code activators and the leaders
mm,
of of the world,
mm,
right? Those who have been chosen to steward the new earth and the process of evolution.
mm,
It's just so
mm,
beautiful and so honored to be part of
mm.
that process with those of
Yeah.
everybody who's here today.
Mm,
Mm,
that story, Carrie. I love how you share about how you can move from one to the other in the same multifaceted triggering and joy. I love that because, the challenges come to us to give us the free will to feel the lack and to transform the lack and any reactive
mm,
behavior, to achieve the affinity with God. The God process
ah,
is the gift. And the bigger the challenge is like, you have the ability to transform more of your personal darkness in that huger situation that might scare others, but like you're a light worker, you're a leader of the new age, you're like, all right, bring it on, because I'm gonna be able to transform this personal darkness into so much light. Like
Mm,
it's the joy. And so it's like we see the other side of it. I only see this from walking my own journey in my deep and non underworld of like would it ever end? I now
mhm,
can see that I had to transform so much and it was such a gift. And
mhm,
I see that now in just daily situations that normally would maybe miff me or get me off my energy. And so it's just, yeah, that's as a light worker, as a leader, as a co-creator of the new age. And you're doing it in your field, in your energy, and these challenges are the gift. That is
mhm,
truly seen in the God process.
mhm,
absolutely. Absolutely.
How
mm.
else would you know what a badass you are?
Yeah, totally. There's
All
that
badass.
majesty again.
I mean,
There was
Yeah.
this joke.
face
It's
it.
like, is it that God doesn't bring you anything that you cannot handle?
Mm,
Apparently, God must think I'm a badass. Well,
exactly. Well,
there you have it.
and
Mm.
yeah, I mean, what I discovered was that, oh man, my relationship with God during the crushing moments, man, I just was really separated. I mean, I was heartbreakingly separated from
Mm.
myself during those hard moments. And the hard moments when my children, when I lost custody of my kids and I didn't have a stable house to live in, and it was like everything was just like, oh my gosh. I remember hearing, don't ask for the children back or the money or the man to make this better for you. Ask for God. And I was like,
Mm.
what? What? You are
Yes.
crazy. And when I started to ask for God, I started to get activated And I started like this holy sacred union of myself and these golden strands of light. And I was like, this is who I am. And it started to make sense why the reality had to end, because the rebirth of me as a woman and the resurrection of me from the darkness into the light was like, oh my gosh. I remember seeing an image of Jesus standing in front of a girl saying, here, give me your teddy bear. And behind Jesus was this massive teddy bear that Jesus was getting ready to give to the girl. And when my life went sideways and everybody around me, my parents, like everybody was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know, but I trust it.
Yeah.
And then I just like everything coming back, but better than I could have ever imagined.
Mm.
And it was like, oh, wow. Okay, well, God, you're trusting me with this wisdom and you're bringing me through this. Then it must be safe. And I learned to trust the process of evolution from third dimensional reality to bridging into a fifth dimensional reality, and the ups and the downs and the plantings and the death and the rebirth and all of it. And it just was part of this. Now looking back at it, and I had a coach who always said, Carrie, why don't you take the eagle eye view to your life right now? And I'd be like, that's just too hard. It's too hard to take the eagle eye view. But when I started to take the eagle eye view, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm just remembering who I am. And I'm just coming back to myself. And as I remembered who I was, what came back to me was everything. My relationship with my children that was reborn, the relationship with my husband that is golden, the money,
Mm.
the life, the joy, the happiness, all of those things. And I was like, wow, this is it. This is living,
Mm.
living. This is earth and heaven in
Mm.
the same reality. And isn't it beautiful and
A
chaotic?
hummingbird just came and stopped and did this whole dance right
Ah,
Oh
now.
my gosh.
Like, I
yeah.
have to share this moment because they come in like the most
I
miraculous.
saw you looking up.
Oh.
I knew it was a blessing.
Oh, what a
Mm.
Yeah.
blessing is for us to connect here and
Mm.
share what we've been through in such a graceful way, not so much focusing on the details, but more on
Mm.
like, yes, there are these waves of the human evolution. Anything that is uncomfortable, it's a call from our higher self to evolve into more than we are. If we're in a relationship that we're called to make that shift, is because our higher self is saying, hey, this is not in alignment. I got better plans for you. Are you gonna let go? And it's those moments. And I remember as we came in and I saw 1212, and I instantly
Mm.
saw a vision of a portal in my personal life in 2012 when I was pushed from going through from my business and logical mind
Mm.
into full on awakening because I was at the point of not seeing a reason to continue on. I fell in love with a man that was, um, it was all out what I wanted, and it was the biggest pain at the same time because that's what was familiar.
Mm.
And for me, it was that transition moment. I remember waking up and it was this beautiful day and sunny, and I was contemplating if I should exit this life. Because if the person I'm with treats me this way, if I allow this, what is the point of my existence? I
Mm.
allow myself to believe that I am this small and I
Mm.
deserve this little.
Mm.
Because I had to reenact the
Mm.
wind from my childhood that had to come through. And I'm sharing this because you might experience in your lives going through these circles. Our life is not linear,
Mm.
it's a circle. And it's almost like you can experience parallel realities. It's almost like you're coming back full circle as a new being. Almost to the same portal, but a very different experience. And in that moment, your question, Carrie, was How did you get here? How any of us got here? And I'll speak for myself that what got me here is the light. I always follow the light, the little light within, that when everything around in this 3D reality showed that there's no way out, the light within told me there is a way. Just dream, and something from somewhere is going to bloom into this diamond and is going to show you the way. Just allow the light to shine through in that moment. And I did. Because I remember the little girl in me, that was a dreamer that I cannot stop. And I needed her in my
Child
life
with
because she was
dreams.
born with nothing. And she's like, I'm gonna have the best life ever and travel the world and speak to masses. You watch me. And I grew up on the side of the world with 500 people in a little village, not even having shoes without holes in it, with no water, no electricity. I was making coals out of cow poop just to stay warm in winter. I've come a long way, I'll tell you that. I've experienced the highest and the lows of this journey. And I'm sharing this because we all, sisters, brothers, we connect here, not to tell what we've been through, because we have been through a lot, is how gracefully we came out of it, and how much we got to remember from every one of these lessons. And now we get to share all that we remember and everything that happened in our life. What a gift to push through this shell and expand us for that light to flow through. The one day you realize that you're all light and you no longer have to plan your life, to have a schedule, to live for the outside world. Your phone becomes a joy for you. You only open it when you want to share yourself with the world, when you're ready, when your cup is overflowing. All the portals in your life becomes your enjoyment because you wish to share, not because somebody needs you. You are the most important part in your life and your connection to source, because you have been there for you. You and the godly part of you, the light. So follow the light wherever you are in your life, even if you feel that you don't have a choice, because we do. You are alive, you're still breathing, you have a choice. And trust that every single being has been to that point, that pivotal point in life. My ask from you is, may you allow all these stories to serve an inspiration to choose the light in you and allow the diamond to open up. So maybe you can remember who you are and throw away all of those reflections and projections, because they were never you. And look in a mirror, find you. Because the beauty that exists through you is the light, your connection through the source. That is the most beautiful thing that you'll ever experience, taste, and be into. So be you, the highest you.
Thank you for sharing your story and what you've walked through. Oh, I'm so touched, and I really feel the resonance of how each of us has hit that dark moment or hit that bottom, and that it's what are we going to choose in that moment? And are we going to stay with that energy and let it pull us down, spiral, or are we going to connect with the light and connect with our who we are, and receive support, reach out, whatever is needed, and to move into what your soul is calling you, because you had to face that so that you could become who you are in this moment, standing in front of us with your sparkly galactic cosmos behind you and speaking to the world. Don't you agree, Veronica? You couldn't be who you are today if you hadn't hit that bottom and faced that.
No. And I allowed myself to cry for the first time in front of with people that I didn't know. In 2018, I wrote it down. That is the first time I realized that vulnerability, it's actually a sign of beauty and not weakness. So thank you to
Your
all
vulnerability.
that pushed me to get here.
Oh, and your vulnerability is what is your incredible power, and what is our power. I always thought vulnerability was weakness, and I'm not going to share what I'm feeling because then I'm weak and I'm not strong. But it's the opposite. Our vulnerability is what creates is the only way we can create through and create from, and courage only comes through our vulnerability. And so you had courage in that moment, Veronica, and I just see that in myself, and I see that in our journey as a collective is the vulnerability and the feeling of acceptance and of owning our authenticity, even if it's messy. And even my last thing is I want to show my messiness. And now it's all messy. It's so messy. And I can't not share it. It's like so, like my closet is overflowing, my Pandora's box, the lid, all my duct tape is broken off. And it's just so messy that it's just, now I embrace the messiness. And I've gone through my journey as well. And so I really resonate, Veronica. Thank you so much for sharing.
Mhm. Messy masterpieces we are.
Messy. I call
Isn't
myself
that
Messy
what art
Marvin.
is?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's yes.
the tapestry. It's absolute messiness. It's like yeah, I mean it's like oh gosh, I didn't have time to get my hair dyed and my grays are showing through this morning, and it's like it's the imperfection. It reminds me of well, Isis, going to Isis's temple, Jennifer, I know you resonate with this, is the imperfections. It's those are the beauty.
Mm.
Those are the beautiful things, the imperfections. And why have we been hiding behind this
Aw.
veil? And all veils are being pulled back so that the beautiful self can shine through. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. So beautiful. And Isis loves you no matter what you are looking like or just showing up with your open heart.
Mm, yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Amazing. What are we feeling as a community right now? How what is the how are people feeling listening and watching and how is this resonating with all of you? Are you seeing yourselves in our stories and feeling the comfort in our experience? Loving, let's see. Oh,
Mm.
Jennifer,
Aw, how
extremely
sweet.
blessed. Amazing. Yeah.
Mhm.
I love this conversation, but I must go. Jennifer, Miss Veronica, share your story in a graceful way. That story made me cry, Veronica. I started reading it on Facebook recently, and I was like, oh my gosh, you are
Oh.
here for epic, epic things.
I want to share something into
Aw.
that because I have a conversation. There's a lot of this wave of energy for us to share our truth is coming through every single being. And the reason I shared, I had the courage to share more, not because I wanted, is to give others permission to do the same. Um, I was going somewhere with this, and I'm not sure what this is. Something is
Mm.
coming through.
Stay with it.
There's a wave of sadness in the collective that hasn't been processed. And
Mm.
oftentimes it might come in our consciousness in a flavor of our story. But
Mm.
what is truly being processed is every single being that has gone through similar winds.
Mhm.
So when we share something that is, it came back. When I was invited to share more of things that are vulnerable that my humanness doesn't want to share, there's the duality within. The source wants you to express, and the human part of you, it's like, oh, holding on to, no, why me? Right? So there's this inner duality to express your gift with the world. And I've experienced that with many beings in the last few weeks. So the invitation is again to surrender and trust that whatever is guided through, if you slow down enough, you will notice how every one of those pieces are paving the path for you.
Mm.
That you no longer have to do or be in control or trying to figure things out. When we slow down slower than we think we should go, we go quantumly fast
Mhm.
because we're aware of it all and we do not get to miss any steps to come back or reach out to external sources for help. There's a lot happening in our collective right now. Let's see if we can integrate this. When we allow to listen to the wholeness, the answers within,
Yes.
and we go really slow from walks to moves to anything that you do, things come to you, they're shown, and you allow your higher self to lead the way for you, and you go really fast. That is when we lead with our heart, which is the direct portal to the source. So we're simply leaning back and watching the show by being the highest expression that we can be.
Mm.
Receive what is yours and leave the rest. So it is.
I'm just really feeling this palpable frequency of supreme self-reliance. And you shared something exquisite, Carrie, when you said there's this, well, two things that I would love to augment. That you let go of the side of the cliff and God caught you. And what I would like to invite is an incredibly powerful expansionary energy. You caught you. You being the embodiment of the structure and sentient intelligence and awe of eternity itself. And so when we lean back into these rich, lush spaces of wholeness that Veronica is speaking to, there's a stillness, there's this lucidity where time actually dilates. It feels like it's slowing down, but it's actually speeding up profoundly in these moments at the 0 point of our being, of our wholeness. And from this space, we can have direct communion, dialogue, or simply resonant coherence with our own supreme being in nature, being the tapestry of existence itself. And we can welcome love to us. So the second thing that you said is in some of these pivotal moments in your life, you were told to ask for God. Now I just want to zero in on the profundity of this. So much we are taught to ask for, create, manifest, focus on, cultivate the frequency or the energy of the relationship, the union, the money, the wealth, the prosperity, the home, the magical existence that is simply the sheer emanation of who we are as the miracle of creation itself. But what if we actually only affirmed, claimed, requested, I request through praise and appreciation, the presence of love in all forms? And how could that one single jewel profoundly enhance our existence through the total unified field of our being in one swoop? Request the presence of love. Give thanks for the abiding presence of love that is here in all moments, in all forms. I was just sharing a beautiful discussion with a beloved about money. And we were talking about how one of the very common, and I would even consider primitive belief structures around money is that money is EVIL, being wise with my words. And I thought, well, what is the truth of money? That money is love. Money is literally an expression of love. And if we know all that is love, then all we actually have to do is focalize the perception of all being love, the felt sensation of all being love, our wholeness as one love, and that indeed is the master code to maximizing our creation everywhere simultaneously through the unified field, and that nothing more is required.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I experienced this last month with wealth, and what I saw energetically was that the old way of creating money through effort was off. It was like it was shut off. And so I said, what is the new experience? And it was merging with the intelligence of it was merging with love. It was being divine love. It was slowing way down, quiet, listen. And the pathway showed up, the wisdom showed up, the information showed up, all of it, like puzzle pieces falling together. And it was so joyful to be in this experience of knowing that the effort, the masculine way of creating anything was just completely, it was non-existent. The feminine way was through the flow. Well, go skiing, go here, go there, take a nap, dream, remember the childhood dream, skip around the kitchen, take care of yourself. And that the pathway showed up. And it was, my soul was just like, oh my gosh, this is how it is. Through dreams, unlocking, and all of these codes. And it was like, oh gosh, the inheritance or the promise of God was always that I returned to me and lived in the simplistic form of me, which is what we're all talking about here. It's like the divine beingness, the love, the happiness, the joy. And with that came only the letting go of the old way, which was to let go of the cliff, let go of the way that I used to know. And then it showed up and it continues to show up. The pathway continues to show up. The unfolding of life continues to show up. So, yeah, money is love. It's the frequency and the vibration of love. And so is every other aspect of our dream that we want to manifest. Comes through love. So I'm just reading. That's amazing.
Money and love. Shall we make love to money? Shall we change the frequency of money in this co-creation? What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
Because money, it's just a paper, so it's not the money that we want. It's we want to spend it. So we actually don't love the money because we want to spend it on something. So what is actually that we do want? And I want us to go into that depth, what that is for you. If you want money because you want a house, go directly in the house, right? If you want money because you want a constant income for safety and security, then go to that place of safety and security. So let's bypass whatever we think and however much we think we need, and let's go directly to that dream of yours, that place. If it's whatever it is that you're searching, that feeling, the safety, the security, the value, whatever it is, the frequency of money, the status, whatever you think it brings you, whatever it is that brings into your wholeness. Let's go to that frequency. Let's go to that frequency. We no longer have to worry about the frequency that has been attached to the money by the entire collective. We get to reset this today. We have the power. We have the power to do so.
I'd see it as a master switch that we're flipping right now.
Yes. So as we go with our diamond light, imagine yourself as being this beautiful diamond godly creator that you are. Step into your highest godly master self. This is it. This is it. However, the godly you that you imagine, this is a step into your mastery. Activate your light, connect to all that we are. And go to that place that all the wealth that your humanness might desire in this lifetime, which means your higher self is knocking on the door and say, hey, you need this much so you can be happy, because this is your standard. You need $1 million, or you need 5 million, or you need 10 million, or you need 1 billion, or you need 1 trillion, whatever it is. Go to that place and feel that feeling. Go to that home, the safety, the support, the love, the value. You have arrived. You have all the money that you could ever desire to be you. And now let yourself be free. And we align all the portals that you have already created to receive wealth in your life with this new frequency, with this feeling, with this Ah, home for you. You're no longer bound, manipulated by anything that money has been related to. You go straight to the source and you receive what's on the other
Mm.
side of the waterfall. Solara, I feel like you have some magic things to throw in here, so go ahead.
I'm just feeling this effervescent light intelligence, and I thank you so much for sharing the beauty and the truth of, well, one, how much our existence loves us and loves to lavish us and gift us with the infinite superabundance of love and creation itself, and the immortal wisdom and intelligence of our being in all forms. And that ultimately the beauty of money is that it allows us the space to feel free to fully exude the light of our essence. And that is one of the greatest blessings that it has to give to us, freedom to be the fullness of our authentic, magnificent self. And that's what it is all leading to. That is the beauty and the majesty of this moment. So to gift ourselves that now, knowing that we are benevolently enshrouded by the glory and the goodness of love, and allow ourselves to savor this sacred dance like a child, to know that all of existence is quite literally designed synchronically to operate in our favor, to allow that to return to the innocence, to return to the purity, to dance and marvel in freedom and wonder, knowing that all is here, all is now, all is provided. And not only are we safe and held and cherished, it is love's, it is our own being's supreme delight to pour the goodness of existence into us and to accept the pleasure that that gives our creation. Yes, wisdom is the wealth, perfectly, exquisitely that. It is the sustenance that fuels us. Wisdom. When are we most alive? Well, ultimately, we become the embodied revelation, but it's the epiphanies, the revelations, the awarenesses of self, the liberation of pure consciousness, the light bulbs that go on. It is these jewels of wisdom that become us, that enrich us, that fulfill us, that are our ultimate sustenance, our ultimate wealth, the ultimate satiation and expression of pure prosperity, the prosperity that births all prosperity. Ah.
I want to dance.
I do it. Oh.
Gosh,
Let
and
it
this
flow, let it flow, let it flow.
yeah, the expression. How can the mastery is being the physical expression of wealth, of abundance, of prosperity. And how do we live that inner hologram? Like how do we express that in all aspects of our being and
Mm.
be that now?
Yes.
And I think that is the mastery that we're here. What is the switch that gets to be flipped where we recall that
Mm.
the expression of having it all. Remember, as a child, you knew you had it all. You had that dream. And I feel now to the inner workings of the heart portal and that inner heart waterfall room unlocking
Mm.
in each of
Yeah.
us, that infinite space in our heart and that flow coming in through the heaven frequencies, the heaven on earth frequencies pouring in. And that waterfall room, whether you know it, you remember it, that you were separated and that your family didn't provide it for you, but you were to come into that desire and listen to your heart's desire and to open that up and to allow yourself to have it, allow yourself to be that
Mm.
physical expression of that inner divine dream. And that inner divine dream is to walk the pathway of the dream and to create it as you walk, almost like the every footstep you take is a divine footstep in the direction of your dreams.
Mm.
And the courage and the faith to walk that unknown pathway is how you illuminate your light through that pathway and your soul, right? It's Larry, you said this. It's like I was really just looking for myself,
Yeah.
and I had to remember that I was that aspect of God. Sorry, the light is getting so bright.
It's so beautiful.
I'm gonna let you guys into my kitchen soon. But it's like uh, your your inner radiance pouring through, and that's what I see for all of us right now is this light is just beaming on me, the inner radiance of who we are, that magnificent flow flowing
Yes.
through us, opening up that pathway because we're
Yeah.
here to open up those new doors
Mm.
and
The
let our
doors of receiving. Go ahead, Solara.
I'm over here.
I was getting the bridge for
Rumination.
you.
she's, she's orchestrating. She's I just see you
We're
as being
receiving Solaris
symphony.
transmission.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I love you all so much that we can dance and paint and soiree in these spaces together. Such a beautiful unspoken recognition and sensation. And the switch that gets to go on, I can translate the movement that unfurls. It's a recognition of grace. I gift myself to myself in the realization that my only desire has always been myself, to know thyself. And if we can clear a space, this gets to be so easy and so graceful and elegant. Instead of fighting and pushing and resisting and thinking we have to do something, we can simply say, give all that is untrue into the light with love, with grace, with compassion. I relinquish all of these aspects that are not truly me into the light. Clear this space, give ourselves at the altar of our own divinity, and allow the magnificence to emerge. And we just do this over and over and over again. It creates this movement. I release, I emanate, I resonate, I emanate, and be in this holy union with love and allow the intent to be in this holy union with love, light to light, God to God, source to source, to be that which moves and compels us, and to have such sweet, holy empathy for our own beingness when we're not in that space, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And we just get to continue practicing and cultivating and creating space for the light to emerge.
I love that inner dialogue because it is a feminine wound that I hit up against frequently, which is thinking that it has to be different or thinking that I am not in the right place rather than having this inner, this beautiful inner dialogue that is whispering words of love to me, which is awakening love inside of me and also projecting that out so it comes back, right? Um, and it's so beautiful that we get to choose this as women now because we've been in this patriarchal form for so long, pushing and exerting, and we really have all the pathway is so clear for us to choose it, to choose ourselves over everything else. And I know that's why my pathway got cleared when, everything got shifted away. It's like, oh my gosh, well, first I come back to myself and remember who I am. And then it all just unfolds. So, yeah, beautiful.
When we don't know who we are, the world around us will tell, will show.
Indeed.
Mhm.
And oftentimes, if you could imagine if you came into this world and you never met another, how would you know who you are?
We need that.
So
Yeah.
I
We need
invite all of us to look at a holy self coming into this world. We met our parents, and through their reflection, through their expression, we found a part of ourselves. Then we went to school and we found more and more friends, family, travel, and so forth. And we found so many different expressions of what another shared that we are through their reactions, through their opinions, to whatever it is that was reflected back. Now, if you've never met another, what impression would you have about yourself? Who would you truly be? We go through life accumulating so many labels, believing that we're a certain way because there were many that agree with it, and we brought it home and we formed this identity that I am this way.
Mhm.
But all of it is formed with everybody's opinion and my allowance of that to come true.
Mhm.
How powerful are we truly? So
Mhm.
finding out who you are, it's not so much finding out who you are, it's choosing who you are, because you're nothing but the very reflection of every being you've ever met. Yet. I'm saying yet because we're still finding. So what if we choose who we are, which is the highest expression of our divinity? Would that be an easier label to walk the world with instead of trying to play a character of what others expect us to be?
Mhm.
If you choose today to walk the world as your godly self, no one can tell you otherwise because you get to choose
Mhm.
that. And those who don't align will fade away, and those who see you as such because they see themselves the same way, they will come to you and you will find your family. Welcome to the circle. And so it
Mhm.
is.
Family.
Mhm.
It feels so good to resonate with that word family.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
So
Mm.
who are
One
we?
family, one
One,
heart,
one heart.
one masterpiece of moving art. We ultimately remember that I find this is one of the deep, deep, deep spaces of navigation because it's easy to resonate with who we resonate with. It's challenging to resonate with the God self and those with whom we don't naturally resonate with. And to unify all of that is powerful
Mastery. It's
mastery.
mastery. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, my
Aw.
earth angels and soul family, are there any closing remarks that you would like to share as we continue? We're going to keep this portal open for several days and through the replay so that we allow everybody to bask in this energy who is divinely guided to be here. But we are going to be closing our physical portal. Is there anything that you would like to share before we close?
I'm just appreciating your auric sublime glow. It's beautiful. I love it. You're just
Thank you.
glowy and beamy.
It's fun.
Mhm.
What sunglasses, but it's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
This light is this house and the windows in here. It's a house of light. It's a temple. It's a heaven on earth portal. And it's where so much love is created. It's where there's been a resurrection of a family, and this home has held families that have just evolved, and it's held my husband and his family, and it's held his family through the loss of a mother and a wife, and it's held the love that my husband and I create, and it's a birthing portal, and it's just so beautiful. And I always tried to run away from home, and I always tried to run away from Massachusetts, and I tried to get somewhere where it would be better. And I've been held here and held here and held here, and I've created in the middle of suburbia this portal of heaven on earth, and I bask in it, and it's a reminder that that our hearts are the home, and what we create inside is a ripple of what we get to create on the outside. And this room in particular is where my husband and I envisioned our children gathering. And we've got these huge love sacks and we've got this big couch. And it took a while for our family of light and our soul family to move through the barriers and the illusions that separate us from love and being a soul family. And it's just such a celebration that in the celebrations that occur in this room and in the kitchen, it's magical. And no matter where you are, you don't have to look outside of you for that portal. Remember that you are the portal, the infinite portal of heaven on earth. Remember that the inner dream exists inside of you and it can be created anywhere, and that you already have all the ingredients. There's nothing that you're missing. It's just learning how to use those ingredients. And our featured speakers today, they shared their medicine and their ingredients and their process in their stories. It was woven in this divine thread. And as we close up, I just remind you that the process is what every one of us is in right now. We're in a process. We're in a process of coming home to ourselves, of remembering our radiance and our beauty, and tapping into the deeper aspect of ourselves through those challenges that are only created so that we can find the magic within us. And we find that magic within us and we unlock that magic within us. It's like unlocking a new level of life. And we get to step into that and dance in it. So thank you all for being here. Veronica, would you like to say?
You know it's coming.
No, of course it's coming.
Oh no,
So
it's
much. It's
coming.
coming.
For all the superhumans that got to enjoy every moment and still be here now and receive all that we have received today. Carrie said the word magic, and my whole field is like, yes, let's do this. In the moments that we need that light to show us the way, how about we take this beautiful portal that we created here, the 1212 portal, only the magical energy, only the codes, the majestic that's flown through every single one of us. And let's bring the energy of the moon and the sun and all the stars that we're connected to, and Mama Gaia and the pure waters. And let's connect to the ley lines of the Mother Earth and her powerful Kundalini. Let's bring the circle right above the Egyptian pyramids, and let's magnetize all the our vessels are ready to receive right now, and bring this entire power into a tiny, tiny little diamond and bring it into your heart. And in times that you need someone to be there for you, come back to this light, to this portal, to what we have created here. And this energy will always be. Every single one of us in light form will be there helping you through this magical portal that we have created. It will live on through you. That is your gift to you. Remember, there is no limits to what you can do. Be the light for you. Be that home. This is it. You get to create your own home in your temple by bringing into your field all that is aligned with you, and everything else, discard it. That is not information for you. And so it is. May only love and light surround you.
And so it is.
And so it is. Integrate, integrate, integrate.
We certainly have the presence of the light and the sun and the codes of the sun and the codes of the earth and the codes of heaven on earth. Here is a reminder as we send you off into your new realities that you have created within you. Choose love. Choose love. It is a choice. And when you choose love, and when you be love, you are unlocking the inner mastery and the secret to what creates new worlds. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here.